In Taiwan, everyone likes to call TSMC the sacred mountain that protects the country. But my partners and I built our own sacred mountain that protects Yong'an.
This is Taiwan Talk on ICRT.
Landing a job at Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing is a dream for many of the island's young STEM graduates. But what if we told you there was one engineer who used his time at the world's biggest contract chipmaker as a stepping stone to reimagine and reinvent the southern Taiwan fishing community? Now, in this week's edition of Taiwan Talk, I speak to Mack Chen of Grouper Sue, who shares his story of how he was drawn to the sea to make a living.
I got my master's degree from the University of Colorado in the United States around 2004, and my major was information management. When I graduated, I originally wanted to stay in the United States and start my career plan, but I thought about the tuition fee of more than $1 million a year, even though it was paid by my father. But it is more important to return to Taiwan to work as soon as possible. It is more important to serve and accompany with my parents. On the eve of graduation in 2004, I applied for Chime Electronics. That was a company that makes LCD screen. Around 2009, I left Chime Electronics and joined TSMC. And then I left TSMC around 2016 to engage the breeding business in Yong'an.
Okay. A lot of people will say that TSMC was a dream job because many people in Taiwan want to work at TSMC. Was it easy for you to decide to leave TSMC?
In February 2016, there was a severe cold wave in my wife's hometown, Yong'an. My wife was working in Hong Kong at that time. I went back to Yong'an to check on the situation during the Lunar New Year holiday. I found that more than 80% of groupers were dead. This situation was very serious, so I decided to go back to see what I can do. Originally, I encouraged my father-in-law to stop breeding. After all, if we encounter extreme weather again, there may be huge losses. If there is a bumper harvest, the price may be bad again. And in addition, the political situation, relationship between Taiwan and China are not stable. So the best way is stop planting groupers anymore. But after discussion with his production team members, he found that there were debts to repay. After all, each of them had debts of about 30 to 40 million NT dollars. So it is better to continue breeding. But I told them that it is okay to raise fish, but it must be different from past business model. The role and position of fishermen in entire industrial value chain must be changed. Otherwise, there will be no future. So I asked my boss in TSMC to stay on without pay for 1 year. In fact, at that time, my boss thought I was just tired. If I took a year off, I could definitely go back to work.
So instead of selling your father-in-law's business, you decided to give up your career at TSMC to come in.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yeah. And that's,
Was it difficult for you in the beginning?
Actually, I don't think it's a hard time. I don't think it's a hard time, but in every industry, you have to work very hard, even in TSMC or in fishery industry also. Yeah. But, most of the elite in Taiwan, they are in science park or in medical industry. So if you pay the same efforts in fishery, then you will get more and your income still good. I think it's still good.
It's still okay.
Yeah, it's still okay compared with TSMC. Yeah, still okay.
So you good financial decision to join your father-in-law then. It was a good financial decision.
Yeah, because we reviewed the whole industry chain. I told them in Yong'an, they breed the giant groupers for over 3 generations, 60 years. But they didn't sell their fish. before because the vendors buy the fish and the fishermen don't realize where the fish go, which market, they don't know. After I come back to Yong'an, I told them we have face to consumers. We have to let them know how we plant the fish. We use recycle good water. Yeah, so the carbon emission is low. Yeah, we have to let consumers know that is very important.
The last time I spoke to you, you said that you learned a lot of things at TSMC that you were able to implement in the fish farm. Can you talk about that very briefly?
The department I work in TSMC was called CPO, or yes, Corporate Planning Organization. At that time, my working title is senior engineer. This organization had 4 departments and a total about 150 engineers. My job was to develop internal systems for company and manage system database. Therefore, we are very busy before every earnings call because the material will be sorted and adjusted before being handed over Morris Strong for use at the shareholders meeting. So I think the training there is very important for me to do other business.
What do you mean by that?
Because in TSMC, we do things by SOP. We have to do very decent planning in every project. And the way we do things, this is kind of training. So at that time, I think this training is good for me to do other business, especially in fishery industry.
So what are your hopes for the fish farm now? What would you like to do?
Our fish farm covers around area of around about 5 hectares, and contracted area is about 50 hectares. It mainly breeds giant groupers, dragon tiger groupers, sea bass, milkfish, white shrimp, larval fish, as well as some lower water temperature species like flounder. At that time, we had 4 partners in our own fish arm and about 20 partners in other contract parts. Our business model is quite special because about 70% of the local residents in Yong'an are related to fish industry. So we established a local cooperation in 2019, allowing fishermen to become shareholders and joint promote local brands. In terms of distribution channels, major e-commerce channels, supermarkets, organic supermarkets and restaurants, including Caesars Park Group, Hilton, etc., are our long-term and stable partners. After COVID-19, we have also resumed exporting to Singapore and Canada. So I think extend our markets not to mainland China only to other regions like Europe or United States is very important for us.
Do you miss working in an office, or are you very happy to be where you are now?
Yeah, when TSMC stock price exceeded $900, I struggled for a while and shed tears. Okay. In Taiwan, everyone likes to call TSMC the sacred mountain that protects the country. But my partners and I built our own sacred mountain that protects Yong'an. I feel that the sense of accomplishment is much higher than at TSMC. Yeah.
Chen and his group are especially proud of the changes they've implemented, not just the way they market their aquatic products, but the way the cooperative is growing the fish as well. They ensure their methods are in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And that does it for this edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Hope Go. You can catch this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in.